Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Now, whoever said this was on some serious BS.
Because rhetoric is the arsenal I use to wage the war of language.
So I take these words and I bang them against your eardrums as they percuss into the side of your brain and reverb to the front so I can see it in your eyes. Yes, my words are weapons. So I'll gun down silence with the breath of my voice. That's not what I said. To make you listen as my words burst on your eardrums like atom bombs. Boom, bang, pow! I'll strike a beat in your soul that will guarantee you will always remember me.
You see, I decapitate ignorance with my metaphors, words as sharp as the pen Malcolm X used to write his speeches with.
You see, I can stand here all day and talk until I'm blue in the face and it will mean nothing if what I said meant nothing. What I mean to say is, if I have to think I mean to say what I mean and I mean what I say, so say word.
Word.
Word. My words are weapons, so I create positive change. And you are my target for the nuclear warhead that launches from my tongue, leaving nothing but wastelands in the space of ignorance, so that the beauty of my language can grow, budding the flowers of intelligence, flourishing the beauty and the pain of a sawed-off sentence that gets cut off only by my actions, leaving scars as the only proof as the warfare that was ended by the poison of my tongue. Whispers of Negro spirituals inspire riots like falling care packages holding verbiage magazines like Crisis.
Or at least that's what the history books are going to say after I reload my clips and spray my words shelled in cocaine salivation.
Lexicon artillery's in the fort of my vernacular army, loyal to the nation of my vocabulary. We shoot down planes verbally, turning your facial expressions into punctuation like question marks and exclamation points, dropping ballpoint bombs on sky blue lines. I'm the grammatical grim reaper, vocal angel of death, and the bell tolls for your ignorance because my words. No. My words.
Let's be honest here, guys. My words, obviously,
are a weapon, so we create positive change. The young orphan cries. Hot drops of boiling anguish from down his cheeks. He's too scared to speak. He's afraid that his voice will be the next precious thing snatched away from him, and God knows he's already lost so much. But still, somehow, some way, he musters up the strength to finally speak, and he says, I'm too scared to sleep. And I perfectly understand this, because when you close your eyes, you see the world for what it really is. Dark. And the truth is awfully frightening when you lack the luxury of light. Why not even the company of your shadow? Because like that family member who only shows when there's food, your shadow only shows when there's light. So now you're alone. I can name few things more painful than the cold touch of solitude, which is why I feel for this orphan, who retreats to corners, curling himself up while confessing to the black abyss that he's afraid of the dark. You see, I understand. I used to be just like you, but wandering aimlessly without light has a way of changing you. But still, I get it. Everything around you seems frightening as the objects in your room become clothed in blackness, becoming creatures, quietly stalking you, waiting for that moment you foolishly close your eyes, but it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. You must understand that all you're seeing is the truth. Reality has no nightlight. And I pray that this information doesn't bring a tear to your eye, because my intention wasn't to make you cry, but to make you listen. Shh. You might be surprised to hear the flickering of a candle, dancing to the music of voices, illuminating your room, shining down at those creatures to reveal that there are never anything but piles of clothes. You see, I'll speak for you. My voice booming like thunder, flickering like lightning, to reveal quick glimpses of a better tomorrow. My voice is your candle, never burning bright like the never dying of God's burning bush. I'll speak for you, just so I can be your lifeline. So even in the dark, you can clearly see your dreams. And I'll do this for you for as long as it takes, until you finally realize that you can speak for yourself. But no, not just for yourself, because at the end of each of your sentences, you echo starlight, brightening the night sky, shining down in the mute, granting the wish to have their volume turned up so they can finally be heard. So, relax. Listen. Close your eyes. I swear to you, I'll always be your light.
Less powerful than an empty school bus with just as much future inside.
Able to pass any student with a single political policy.
Faster than a speedy curriculum inside the education system. Or lack thereof.
No child, not one single child gets left behind. Phrases like this bounce off the corridors of her veins like her school system got fed up with contesting for her well-being. You know, they say her mother's brother is the scarecrow because she hasn't yet found the brain.
So they corral you down dead in streets. And they like to call them school zones, but I call them cemeteries. And they tell you to drive slower, not because there are kids in the area, no, but because they want you to be able to read the engravings on the gravestones that read, "No child left behind, no child left behind." We will cut them off from their roots, the generation gap, and displace their values. The media hype, we will get them all. There will be no child left behind.
But that man down the street who gave her a flyer said that he'd hold her hand if by chance her name got picked out the bucket. What she didn't know was that Kipper Middle School had 17 spaces left. And
364 applicants.
Her mother didn't have the heart to tell her that she probably wouldn't get in. Or that standing on the corner, giving away her body like I give away these secrets on stage would be her career. That life has to be this way because some guy with a nice fresh suit and pressed as firmly as my fingers are pushed into this fist with no more foresight to do the $426 glasses doesn't want to lose his job.
So Daisy sits and Daisy waits. Daisy's name isn't called. So Daisy's name goes onto the waiting list, waiting for Superman, waiting for an oily-haired, blue-eyed, illegal alien to resolve our problems. When right down the street from the White House, the reading 8th grade proficiency statistics are 14%.
14%?
14%. What hope do we have if our nation's capital can produce our nation's leaders?
And when the label E7099 fell on the lower end of the waiting list, little Daisy's mother swears she saw her daughter's hair become as thick as the standardized testing score gap between poor and rich students.
Which is part of the reason why Kareem can snatch a job away from Ian on deaffirmative action, even though Ian was one of the lucky ones who made it out of the quicksand of academics based on the creed, a teacher is a teacher is a teacher, because a good professor will watch a bad one sail by on the SS. You can't fire me because I have tenure, so I'll continue to cripple our students until the few who do graduate are scared to walk the halls again.
And they stand up, never tall enough to reach their goals, knees buckle in like the parentheses they don't know yet how to use, arms erect and high, like the flight pattern of a Kryptonian they don't know exists yet, palms facing heaven like they're giving away their dignity to a God they don't know they worship. They're waiting for Obama, for Superman, for God.
But there is no light at the end of your tunnel. Just another funnel to another conveyor belt. So stop expecting a red cape to fly down and save you. Put yours on instead. The time for play is over. They took recess a long time ago anyway. And I know Carter G. Woodson spins in his grave because it's not just the Negroes anymore. It's everyone. Even little Lauren is miseducated, making the hill a lot steeper, but still, we have to climb
And pull each other.
and eventually learn to fly, because no one will save our school systems if we don't.